So the reports that he's miserable here, he doesn't want to be here, he absolutely wants to be in San Francisco, all that is garbage if they just make him the right offer that he's happy with.
You know, I can't say that it is because they haven't made that offer, so I can't say that for sure. I know that the preferred destination has always been San Francisco. It's Kyle Shanahan, and he has a good thing with John Lynch too. I mean, the times that he's talked with him in the past, it's gone well. So, you know, but it's really Kyle Shanahan in that offense, and playing for, you know, somebody who you know will be there for 6 years and who values your game the way you do. And again, that's not knock on the Redskins. They don't have to think just like Cousins does, but that's part of what the lure is. And I think you can also look at what's going on, not just McCloughan's situation, but everything else here. You know, a lot of players are kind of scratching their heads about what's going on and where the direction is of the franchise. And so, you know, I think he's a guy whose life is really based on order, and this is, for him, this would be considered disorder. And so it's a tough match right now. So, but I think the other thing is, too, you reach a point where, again, you know, I think to him, last year, you know, you talk to people close to him, and they're like, their feeling is that if Robert Griffin III had this 2015 year that Cousins did, that they would have paid him in a big way. And
absolutely.
So I think, so whether that's, you know, they don't have to view Cousins at a certain level, but that's part of the frustration. So it all adds up. And I think, you know, again, you reach a point where, like, you know, you clearly don't want to give me near what we think the baseline is. Why don't you just trade me?
I want to get off the Scot McCloughan GM story for just a bit because we've been talking about it all morning. We'll be talking about it all show. Can you fill us in on the guys they brought in? A couple defensive linemen and safety.
Yeah, they got Stacey McGee, Terrell McClain, DJ Swearinger. Swearinger, to me, is the most interesting one. Now, first of all, let's go to the D-line guys. They can, you know, it's not like with McClain from Dallas. You know, it sounds like an effort guy. They feel like he can move sideline to sideline pretty well. You know, and like the word from Dallas was that there are times he could definitely make some plays, and then other times maybe not as visible. I don't know that either one is going to make anybody excited, but I think. For them, it's just, I wouldn't say, they're certainly not done with the defensive line. These are just the first two guys they've signed.
How many former Cowboys defensive linemen have they brought in? Stephen Bowen, Jason Hatcher. Am I missing anybody?
You probably are, and right now I can't think of them. But with McClain, though, and like I was asked to talk to someone down there, it's like they don't, if for a comparison's sake, they didn't feel like he was as good as Jason Hatcher. But Hatcher's issue was he was older and he couldn't stay healthy. So it's not, you know, but in terms of talent level, I don't know that he's going to be, you know, I don't know what he'll do with rushing the passer. But it's again, it's a start of something. Whether or not this can't be the end, and I was told last night it's not going to be the end. Whether it's maybe they're able to get in on a Benny Logan, or they draft somebody, you know, draft a few people that they're still going to look to patch that up, and they have to. They definitely have to. And then as far as Swearinger goes, like I said, to me, he's the one that is the most interesting because he's a guy that early, you know, 2013 second-round pick in Houston, maturity issues. There were questions about him in the locker room, character concerns or whatever, but he always had talent, and the talent was realized last year in Arizona, and he can play strong safety, but he also showed he could cover deep. He had to do that with the Cardinals. So it gives him some versatility, pretty big hitter. But was that the start of something? Was that a contract thing? Don't know. But I think he's the guy that you look at and say, okay, he's intriguing because he does have the ability.
Definitely does. Now, he was waived twice. So he was waived in Houston and he was waived in Tampa, I believe. Was that based on – was that based on lack of production, or was that based on the character stuff?
No, I think with Tampa, I'm not positive. With Houston, it was more off-field stuff, and that was still the concern from others that, you know, a couple of people I talked to around the league after the signing. But I'm not saying, I don't know if it's still there or not. I think it's something you have to still wonder about because it's kind of in his immediate past.
Mm-hmm.
But whether maybe he matured. I think the hope for them is that he did mature, and that he did start to hit a point in his game where he was realizing his talent. But I think that is something that will be worth watching. But I talked to some people out there. I was like, he's a really good guy to talk to, et cetera. So I don't know. I don't want to besmirch a guy and just say that this is what he is. I don't know, but I know that that's what has been the issue in the past.
Okay. And then what about Terrell Pryor? Is that meeting scheduled? What's going on?
Yeah, that's going on today. They met with him last night, and they will be meeting with him again today.
Okay.
It sounds like that's like I wouldn't say that this is a guaranteed signing. I don't think that they have a good idea yet of that. I would call it like a thing you hear is 50-50 chance. So maybe if it goes well.